What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Finance and Freedom. Today we're talking about ULTY. Is it as good as everyone says it is? It's kind of been a hype stock in the last few months, and so I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon and give you my 2 cents on it. Just 2 cents though. So I actually do think it's a really good stock, and I have put my money where my mouth is, and I've bought quite a bit of it. I'm actually using the money from my other dividend-paying stocks. I actually have several others with YieldMax, and I'll talk about those at another time. But I'm using the dividends from that to contribute to ULTY. And so really I've only got about 20,000 invested in ULTY right now, but it's kicking off a good bit of income. In fact, so much so that I was considering, okay, if, say, hypothetically, we started out with $10,000, we left it and reinvested the dividends or did a drip for 5 years, what would the account look like? Well, I crunched some numbers and came up to $765,000-ish, give or take. Now, there are a couple assumptions here. Here's the chart that shows what that looks like. But the assumption is that it holds around a $6 value, which I think is feasible. If you look at the history over the last few months, it has actually performed decently well. This last month was kind of a bloodbath with all stocks, and it did a little bit of a drop, but it's actually kind of a accrued value over the last few months. They changed their tactic, they changed their style, and so instead of paying out monthly, they started paying out weekly, which actually made a huge difference. They've got a lot more new investors coming in, and so the company itself is actually doing quite well and is gaining a lot of traction. So I do think that it has potential to hold around the $6 mark, or maybe even increase over the 5-year period of investment. Another thing that you have to take into consideration is it's paying out about 10 cents a share in dividends weekly. Is it going to continue to do that? Like I said, they've been holding pretty steady for the last several months at about 10 cents a share. And so I don't know if it's possible for them to continue doing this, but what I do know is that it's very likely that they'll continue to do this at least for the next year. And the payoff date is about a year. So everything after that year is all gravy. So why wouldn't you want something like that? In fact, if it drops to $3, it splits in half, I'm still going to be able to get my money back within a year's period. Well, okay, it'd be a little bit longer than that. But I'd still end up getting my money back. And after that break-even period, everything's gravy. Now, there aren't a whole lot of investments out there that you can get your money back within a year's period. And so if this holds even close to what it is, it's actually a really good investment. I'm pretty excited about it. My concerns with it, there's not a lot of history. YieldMax itself is a pretty young company. We don't know what's going to happen. And so there's a possibility that it could go down to nothing. And so I do have a decent amount of money in YieldMax funds, and it's a little scary, but it's also really exciting. And so I'm young enough that I feel like I can be a bit more aggressive with my portfolio. I'm not looking for that 10% from the S&P 500 just yet. Maybe when I retire, I'll be wanting something a little bit more stable like that. But for right now, I'm chasing the gains. And so if you're anywhere 45 and below, you should probably be chasing those gains too. And anything over 45, maybe start slowing down a little bit, and then up to 60, 65. Okay, time to start getting into the S&P 500. But for right now, I'm loving ULTY. I think it's amazing. I think it's a good investment. I'm going to continue investing in it. It's kind of exciting to think that in 5 years, a $10,000 investment could be up to $765,000. And I've got a lot more in it than 10,000. So it's exciting to see what the potential is. Hopefully it ends up being as good as I hope. Even if it's just a fraction of that, I'd be pretty excited. Anyway, kind of a short video today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.